This is like the optimism at the beginning of a project.
Yeah, exactly.
Where nothing's gone wrong yet.
But fortunately, I've worked on some pretty shitty cars. So.
Well.
Yeah, so even after we got a hold of the car, there's a lot of mystery about how it exactly came to be. For a long time, we thought the car was, someone's one-off passion project, I guess you could call it, because really the thing, it didn't look like, a consumer item. It looked like, something that was very homemade. But we did a bit more digging, and we found what we think at some point the car, it was sold as a kit, which was apparently called the Coyote at some point in the mid-2000s. We found existence of, I think, one other car, which looks fairly similar. It's yellow. It had popped up on the internet, close to a decade ago, I want to say. But we have no idea of that car's current whereabouts, and we know of no other examples aside from ours. So really, we still don't know who, originally put it together or how it came to be.
Still low. Yeah.
So especially, there is a tunnel that kind of goes under part of downtown Monterey, I guess, near Fisherman's Wharf. It's not a very long tunnel, but it's kind of become like the show-off spot, I guess you could say, for Car Week, where people, rip through there, revving and speeding and just kind of driving crazy. So, people like hang out at the outside of the tunnel getting pictures and videos of cars driving by. So we went through a couple times, and with our freshly installed straight pipe exhaust, the V6 was sounding absolutely awesome through this tunnel. And Mike was driving, and I told him, goose the throttle a little bit to see how it sounded. And as we go by, I see a person standing on the side of the road, standing there. I'm like, what, is this guy taking pictures? And turns out it's a policeman with a radar gun, which naturally is, standing under there, busting people for speeding. So I was like, oh shit, are we going to get a ticket? But I look over, and it feels like the car's going fast. But I look over at the speedometer, and we're only going about 36 miles an hour, something like really dumb like that. So I kind of breathed a sigh of relief. But yeah, later in the day, in the week, I guess, they were actually, really pulling people over and pounding cars. And it was kind of a shit show, to be honest. But we're glad we made it through unscathed. Do it again, dude. So one of the things we were most curious about, I would say, is, there's a lot of very high-end cars, and of course their owners that go to these events, and we were curious to see how they would react. And I guess you could say it was a mixed reaction. Most of the people even the fellow owners of supercars seemed to enjoy it, or at least get the joke for the most part. There were a few that were, I would say, outright pissed off about us kind of masquerading around in this fake, stupid-looking car.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, what a piece of shit. Like, what's funny about it? It's just like a waste of his own money.
It's actually like, it makes me want to throw up.
Well, it's just ugly and terrible, and like people like work hard and do nice things here, and like are looking to show off their nice things, and that fucking piece of shit. Like, it's just like you're just trying to make fun of people who are like doing something nice. It's silly.
No, but that's
You're
literally
the fucking mess out of
it's
yourself.
they literally took someone else.
Conchiglia. How do you say that with my teeth? Exterior with Rosso interior. So thank you again.
Yeah, really the lemon show could not be more different than the quail. Where the quail cost, upwards of $1,000-$1,500 just to get in. The lemon show is totally free for spectators. It's free for entries. It's about as laid back as a car show can get. But despite that, it draws a huge crowd because I think everyone kind of likes to cut loose a little bit and see the funky, weird cars. And I don't think a car could get funkier or weirder than this. So we knew it was going to be a good day.
But what do they make accents for it?
They sponsor us.
They just
It's a made-up company.
In typical Lemons fashion, the cooler was full of ice and all the drinks were sitting there.
Oh no. Just to bring his wife.
And yeah, we heard you're the ultimate infiltrator at another event yesterday.
Yeah, this car was in the Quail yesterday, which we're still not totally sure how that happened.
Did you win the kit cars?
We won nothing. We were hoping they have a custom coach work class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're like, surely.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it was a bit of a black sheep there. But
Well, thank you very much for bringing it up.
yeah, absolutely.
They said, no way are you going to produce that car with a turbo V6 in it or V8 in it. It was designed to have one from 84 on.
Oh, that's too bad.
And
Yeah,
they read
Would've
the
got
story.
it.
You should read the story. Hulky Aldakaki is the guy who actually was the main engineer. He hid this from GM.
Yeah.
He kept hiding the funding, and every time they came to cut funding, he says, we're not doing it, we're not doing it. And then he came, let's go back and do it. This is a sports car from before you were born.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we had back then. And with the right tweaking, I've even seen these with Cadillac V8s, the North Star in there, the
yeah.
whoop ass on there.
Solid.
Wow, this kid's taking a selfie right now.
Oh man, look at these kids gawking.
The car did not have air conditioning, but it also did not have windows that rolled down when we got it. So you would literally die from heat in the car if you drove it when the sun was out. So we, had to remove the side windows permanently. It has, vertical scissor doors that do not open, and, the driver of the car basically has to hold the door shut while they're driving.
You'll notice my hand, I rest it here, not because it's comfortable, but because I am holding the door closed Because this door does not latch.
It smells, it's uncomfortable, it's extremely dangerous. I'm sure if you got in any sort of accident, you would just die a terrible death. There would just probably be like spears of fiberglass. Like I don't even want to think about it. It's such a risk driving this thing. So it's just the worst car in all ways. It's the worst automotive experience I think that has ever been available to man, essentially, is this vehicle. And so you drive it around, and I think the most entertaining part about driving this car is the attention it gets. It's not like driving an actual exotic car where people will, if you drive a real car, if you drive a Ferrari, people will turn to look at you and their reaction is some combination of intrigue or envy or some kind of, it's a reaction to wealth, essentially. This car doesn't evoke that. And when you drive it around, everyone reacts. First of all, everyone looks. From age 3 through 100, people look at this car. But it's not envy. It's usually confusion. And it's either confused or laughter. Those are the two reactions that this car gets. And so as we would drive this car, especially through traffic, people would turn to look at it. They get about a half second because you're passing them. They don't have time to really see what it is. And so they have this image of the car as it goes past. And it was really hard to capture on film, but we tried. And they just get this split second where they see the car, and you can see their faces. Almost every one of them is just confused. It's pure confusion. And then it's gone, and they'll never see it again. And so there's just like literally hundreds of people from Car Week who are now just haunted by this thing that they don't know what it was, and they'll never be able to see it again, and they'll never be able to find, maybe they'll find Carbros, I don't know, but it's unlikely. And so it's extremely entertaining. It's one of the funniest vehicles to drive around because it never gets old, and you'll never run into someone who's seen it before. And so you just drive around and laugh, and as long as you can until the car breaks down, which is not very long.